Alrighty, here we go with our next section. Example 6 tells us that A and B are mutually exclusive events. Remember from our vocabulary that mutually exclusive events have no overlap. So the probability of A is 1/6 and the probability of B is 1/2. And again, because they're mutually exclusive, I know that this is going to be an empty set. There is no shared value. So the probability of A and B is 0 or 0%, however you want to write that. The probability of A or B is typically, our usual addition rule, remember, is the probability of A plus the probability of B and minus the probability of A and B. For us, since this is empty, it's okay if we don't show that part. So this right here, the probability of A is 1/6, so I can plug that in here. And the probability of B is 1/2. So I can plug that in here. And then I can, again, either exclude this, or if it just is nice for you to help kind of keep track of what you're doing, you could go ahead and fill this in as 0. That's totally up to you. Now, remember from Unit 3 when we work with fractions that you do have to have a common denominator to add fractions together. So if you have access to a calculator, you can put this in just the way that it looks. If you do not, then you're going to look for a common denominator. In this case, 2 and 6 share 6. So we would rewrite this as 1/6 plus. If I change 1/2 to a denominator of 6, I've done 2 times 3, and that means my 1 also becomes a 3. 1 times 3 is 3. And so my answer would be 4/6, and that answer is going to reduce down to 2/3. Now typically I would show you decimal and percentage as well, but since I'm out of space, I'm going to stop right there. The next question we have here says that your mom's going to get you food at McDonald's. The probability that you select a food item with 2 burger patties is 22/100ths, and the probability of you selecting a food item with chocolate is 13/100ths. We're asked to find the probability that your mom selects an item, that's one single food item, that has 2 burger patties and chocolate. Now, weird things happen, but assuming that there's no special ordering happening here, there is not a single item on the McDonald's menu that has 2 burger patties and chocolate in a single item, because frankly, that's just gross. So, because these are mutually exclusive, and they don't have anything in common, we know that the probability here is going to be 0. And again, you can write that as 0%. We're then asked to determine the probability that she gets an item for you that either has 2 burger patties or it has chocolate. This is going to be my or again. So I'm going to shortcut this a little bit, guys. Burgers or choco. And I would take the probability of burgers, which was 0.22. And I'm going to add to that the probability of chocolate, which was 0.13. And because they have nothing in common, I can add this exactly as it's written. And so my answer here would be 0.35 or 35%. All right, that's my pausing point. And you guys are going to try F. And then go ahead and turn the page and try G as well. Okie dokie. So here is the you try example F. My and is again 0 because they don't have overlap. And my or is 7/12 when I add A plus B together. Okay. And then I'm going to turn the paper. We have a question about LeBron James planning a vacation. Again, he cannot plan a trip that's in December that's also in the off season, so that's a 0% chance. But he could plan a trip that's either in December or in the off season, and there are 31 out of 52 weeks available for that. All right, that's the end of this one, guys.